Can anyone hear me? Bada 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 bing. Do, 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 do.
Yeah. We're live. We are live. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to Sportsbet Daily. Can everyone hear me? That was really weird. Can everyone hear
Yeah.
me? All right. Great. Well, listen, let us commence. Sportsbet Daily. It is Wednesday, the 3rd of April, and we've got two topics we're going to talk about today. Going to start with the lower leagues, and then moving on to the Grand National as well. So lower leagues are comprising of Championship, League One, and League Two. I can't believe you're venturing that low to League Two, so it'll be very interesting to see. All right, and yes, Martin, I will pass on that message. Can we kind of start a bit quick? Can we reframe Martin a little bit? Thank you. All right, let's start off. Okay, so I've got the list here of the lower leagues. Obviously, we've got it's closing to the end of the season. The top three, which appear there's what 4 points from fourth place there to third place. Are those top three? Are they pretty much going to be promoted to the Premier League? Flash.
Not necessarily. I mean, the big problem you've got there is, I mean, I think 4 out of the last 7, if you finish third, you do go up, but only the top 2 go up, and I can't pick between Leeds and Sheffield United, even though Leeds have the upper hand at the moment. I think Norwich maybe another couple of wins, and I think they'll be away and gone, which is a real surprise because not many people would have had them even maybe a third of the way through the season, but they just find the way, they score goals, and they've just got a great spirit. But that leads us on to my first 2 picks of this weekend. And I'm going to think that Sheffield United and Leeds both pick up 3 points this weekend. You've got Sheffield United that are going to Preston. Preston not really in the same class as Sheffield United. Sheffield United have that real doggedness. And Sheffield United actually remind me of the Bradford City side when we got promoted from the Championship into the Premier League. Good mixture and good blend of old and young. They've got a goal scorer, they've got a really strong spine, and the biggest thing they've got is team spirit. Leeds, they're on the other side of the coin. Leeds are just so youthful, and they put like 100 minutes of effort into every 90 minutes. That's probably been their shortfall, if you could find one, is because even when they've been in front in position in games, they still keep going and look for more and more when they could have maybe had a hold in there and just said, right, well, look, we'll take what we've got and we'll calm down. But that's not the way they play. They just go. And I mean, Leeds travel to Birmingham, which brings in Gary Monk, my friend, who was manager of Leeds. They got rid of him. He then went to Middlesbrough, didn't work out. Now he's at Birmingham, so he'll know a lot about this Leeds side, and he'll know a lot about the individuals at Leeds. But I think that after the 9-point deduction that Birmingham got, I don't see anything other than a Leeds win here.
Absolutely. No, I think it's a fantastic win. Obviously, on the roads there, Leeds 2.05, Birmingham priced 4. Birmingham's bags seem to be packed, don't they? Ready for the summer, it seems. Some just 5 back-to-back losses, 4 not scoring, and it's actually an incredible price for Leeds there, 2.05. Is that's your bet then for the match then? Leeds win on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 5/6.
Well, I'm going to get to those.
Lower league.
I'm going to get to those ones. I've got plenty.
Oh, okay, but I've added one
questions.
as well. I've added one if someone else wants to just find a little bit more value. I just did a little bit more homework, and I think I may have found another one for our viewers.
I've got a few as well, actually, Flash. Obviously dipped my toes in yesterday, didn't I, with that? Was it Bristol win? I went for Bristol double chance there. You guys said don't do it, and I said
well, I just said it was a guaranteed unders, and I
thought
the game
say that.
could well be a 0-0.
Yes, you did. Or 1 point would go to the other team, the home team there. No, yes, that was a nice little win for me. I won all 3 bets actually yesterday, so I'm on a winning streak, and I'm trying my hand now in the lower leagues. Plenty of value. Martin, Leeds win 2.05. Definitely seems like one of the main plays here on the cards against a very poor Birmingham side.
Yeah, they certainly have been poor in recent weeks. I think you're going to find decent odds there because Birmingham beat Leeds 2-1 at Ellen Road earlier this season. Che Adams scored both goals. It was a real championing defeat for Leeds at the time because they were in great form. So they really do need to gain revenge now. Just for the uninitiated, 3 teams are promoted from the Championship, but only the first 2 go up automatically, and the rest are going to the playoffs. So 3rd to 6th go into the playoffs, and then the team that wins that joins them in the top flight next season. So it really does look to be a real battle between Leeds and Sheffield United. West Brom could still force their way into things if they get up, have a good result. They're poised to capitalise on any slip-ups. But Leeds' destiny is in their own hands now after their win last weekend. And they've got 7 really tough games, but they're basically 7 cup finals. Marco Bielsa's done a really good job there. And it's just time for them to really fight to get into the Premiership next season. I think they can pull it off. I think odds of 2.1 actually I can find now on a Leeds win if you look at some of the smaller bookmakers. But yeah, 2.05 with the big bookies. That does look like a good price, opposing a Birmingham team that are in dreadful form right now and leaking goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously Sheffield travel to Preston. Obviously you were bringing this one up flash here. Sheffield 2.3, Preston 3.3, and the draw 3.42. Third Sheffield there in need, must win for those points. I think we've got goals on the menu for this one. Looking at Alex Classic, both teams to score over 2.5 goals. Obviously, both lost their weekend matches. Do you think Sheffield will walk away? Because it's a decent price there, 2.3. Certainly presents the value. I know, Flash, you've got your name down for this match for a bet. What do you like?
Oh, yeah, Sheffield United all the way. I certainly wouldn't go both teams to score, though, because I know that Chrissy Wilder, he's happy to win this in the last 15 minutes of the game, and he's got old heads that won't panic, and he's got a strong bench. So, I mean, I think it'll be a little bit like when he went to Leeds maybe 3 weeks ago. And they got the result there. And what they did is they kept it tight. They even played a centre back as a holding midfielder. And in fact, funnily enough, he was the one that actually got the goal. So I would not want to be with both teams to score. Not when you're getting Sheffield United. Desperation to get the 3 points at 2.3. Right. I just think there's a gulf, and there's a want and a need for them to deliver, especially after last week. But again, if it was a horse race, they lost nothing in defeat other than points, because they got beat 3-2 at home to Bristol City, who then go to the Riverside and keep a clean sheet and beat Middlesbrough. So Bristol City, they're probably one of the form teams in the league, and they've just popped their head into the playoff picture as well.
Yeah, and there is, if you wanted, in case of the draw there, Sheffield United draw no bet, almost as high as 1.7 in some bookies, averages between 1.61 and 1.7. Martin, do you have a play for that one? Again, that's what they say, so don't they, about lower league betting, Championship and below, that you definitely do have really good odds.
Yeah, I think I might respectfully disagree with Flash on that one, because Preston have scored in 8 of their last 9 games, and they also have a massive need for points. You look at how congested that Championship table is. They're just 3 points off a playoff place. They look like they're down in 10th, but any of those teams could make the playoffs now over the next 7 games. They're in really good goal scoring form, and pretty much every team that Leeds and Sheffield United have to play now have got something to play for. So I think they'll make a really good go of this. I can see Sheffield United scoring on the road. They're in fine form right now. But I actually quite like the look of both teams to score in this one. So I would look at going for that, and you've got odds of 1.82.
Both teams to score, 1.82. Yeah, I like that one as well. Now, it's obviously not one that you put your name down, Flash. We were going to have Dave on here. Martin stepped up to the plate here. Dave was supposed to be on, but having connection issues. But he was down for Norwich versus QPR, and so obviously before we did filming, both Flash and Dave gave the matches that they wanted to talk about. Now, so I looked into Norwich versus QPR. Norwich 1.47, first place against the 17th place there. I have to say, for an ACCA bet, 1.47 definitely has to be considered. I'd also say Norwich -1. They have been having some close 1-0 wins here, or winning by just a goal. But surely, at the very least, it's going to be a push. Flash, you're not on that match, but would you agree with what I'm saying or not?
No, I think that the value is not there at all, to be honest, because Queen's Park Rangers, if they've got one thing about them, is they're quite organised, and they've just lost their manager.
Yeah.
Now, you don't lose your manager unless obviously you haven't done something right at the other end. But I just see this as a possible draw. I see this as a real banana skin because for Norwich, and especially at 1.4. So I thought there was a better value elsewhere. Everyone expects Norwich to win. If Norwich get their noses in front, then I expect them to go on. But I think that Queen's Park Rangers can be quite dogged, you know. So I just thought I'd leave it alone and not have a 4-9 shot let me down.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Let's have a look. What are the ones? Oh, well, I think that is that's it for Championship.
No, I have got one for other people in that league.
You do?
I have got another one. Yeah, I can't believe that Bristol City are 1.9 at home to Wigan. As I said earlier, Bristol City are probably the form team in the whole of the Championship, including the top three. So, I mean, they're scoring goals home and away. They have their tails up. As you remember last year, when they had their tails up, they were beating Premiership opposition. They are really buzzing, and I can't believe they're 10 to 11. So I'm going to give 6 selections in total today. And you can do the 6, or you can do 6 5-timers, or you can just do 5 4-timers and drop one of them out. But I like Bristol City at home to Wigan.
Yeah. Are you combining them all as well?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll do 6 5-timers and I'll do 5 4-timers. So I'll drop one of them out.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Any other bets on the Championship there, Martin? Do you have a Championship team that you support?
I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan of any particular Championship team, to be honest. Few teams that I'm not a fan of there, like Stoke, but I think Norwich deserve to go up given the form that they've showed at this time of season. Against managerless QPR, there'd be an inquest if they don't beat them. So I think with your -1 Asian handicap bet, looks all right there. I think at the worst you get a push.
Yeah,
that'd be a huge result for QPR if they do get a draw. I have a bit of a soft spot for Nottingham Forest. Always quite like them. They're up against Rotherham, who lost 6-1 to Derby last time out. So you would have to imagine that that's going to have knocked their confidence a little bit. I know they're fighting for their lives at the relegation zone, and I don't really like betting against teams that are fighting for their lives at this time of year. But, you know, Nottingham Forest are an inconsistent team, but odds of 2.42 on an away win might be worth a little shout there. I might go for that -1 for Norwich as well. But yeah, it looks like a lot of tight, tense games. I think the Championship's difficult at the moment because there are so many teams scrapping for points.
Yeah, I agree with you. And again, it's incredibly close at the bottom as well. All right, so we're moving down to League One. What do we have for League One? Fleetwood versus Southend. Obviously, Southend close to relegation. They haven't won in 13 matches. 4 of those have been draws. Again, Fleetwood at home enter after 2 back-to-back wins. 1.85 though. Does that have value for you, Flash?
Has unbelievable value again. And my friend has just been given the manager's job at Southend, and against one of my old friends, Chrissy Powell. Chrissy Powell got sacked, and Kevin Bond has now got the job. And he's got the job because they are dog awful. They can't keep clean sheets. It looks like, I mean, listen, they're only like one position below the bottom 4, and they are desperate. They don't want to be going to Fleetwood as the first game under Kevin Bond's stewardship. I mean, it's just going to be horrendous. And the thing is with Fleetwood, they've got a bit about them. And I just can't believe when I looked at the prices, 1.85 for against a side who have lost, I think, 12 of the last 13 games, or they've not won in 13.
But again, under new manager, though, is it that sometimes it gets, you know, they pull something out of the hat, don't they, under a new manager? It doesn't matter sort of what.
Not in the lower leagues.
No.
Not in the lower leagues. No, because basically, in the lower leagues, you have players that actually have a level of ability. And there's not a big gulf between them playing brilliantly or them playing badly. Whereas when you have it in the Premier League, that's completely different. Like, you've got players who could potentially be international quality who have just dropped down to being club class. There's a big gulf, but when they step back up, there's a marked improvement. I mean, I fully expect Fleetwood, especially home field as well. Fleetwood at home to Southend. I've not been on Fleetwood all season. My first pick for Fleetwood, and yet we've been having it off all season in League One, League Two.
What do you think about Fleetwood's prices, Martin? 1.85.
Yeah, it looks like an attractive set of odds given the form that both teams are in. Obviously, Fleetwood 1-2 on the bounce, and Southend have been horrendous lately. I'm always, as I said, a bit wary about going against teams that are really deep in the relegation dogfight at this time of year. It's really, really congested down there. You've got 4 teams that are all on 42 points and 3 teams on 44 points. So any of them could go down, it's looking like. But yeah, you have to say that Southend are in horrendous form. They look like they're going to roll over in this one. So yeah, I agree. 1.85 looks like a good one for any accumulators.
Yeah. Do you think they've got enough to? Do you think Southend have got enough to stay up, Flash?
It will be a toss of the coin between maybe any 4 from like 7. It really is. It really is that bad down there. I hope so, but let's put it this way: I won't be on any of these shows saying I think Southend will win.
All right, so Fleetwood it is. I agree with you that as well. Bradford City versus Doncaster Rovers here. Doncaster 2.17, draw 3.52, and Bradford 3.56. It seems that Bradford are going through a bad patch. 4 back-to-back losses, with 3 of them not scoring. Pretty much, they are at the bottom, aren't they? They're pretty much relegated. I think I can imagine the odds for them is pretty low. 24th position. So why is it such a good price for Doncaster Rovers at 2.17? They're in 6th. It's like those odds are telling me something.
Yeah, it's a local derby. Obviously, you know that I'm obviously really close to Bradford City anyway. They've had a little bit of positivity this week with Gary Bowyer being given the a 2-year extension. So they're basically setting a line in the sand, saying that we're going to now start fresh in the summer, get rid of these players. They've not performed. Last weekend, they're away at Charlton. They hardly had a kick on goal. They had a little flurry, a little swan song in early December, where everyone thought everything's going to be rosy and they'll climb up the table. They won 3 games, I think, in 5, but since then, since none of the boys got their move in the January window, they've down tools. Players not good enough. Doncaster, that they're a match for anybody on their day, and I just think that there's a gulf here, and I'm going to take Doncaster to take Bradford out.
Yeah, and all these prices you're combining, because that's you should let us know on your Twitter handle as well, how you're parlaying them or accumulating them. You do.
I do. We've had, I think this year we've had a 32 to 1. I think we've had a 25, a couple of 12s. We got 4 out of 5 last week, so I think we've been doing all right. And look at the odds. I do have people that actually do them singly.
Yeah. No, I don't exactly
1.5s and 1.62s and things like that.
Yeah. Do you know I've since obviously with you guys, when we had to put the lower league show on hold, I've been getting a ton of messages. It's literally all people message me about is this lower league show. They want to literally hear your lower league bets, Flash. And this is so. I think I know that you do so well in them. Again, over to you, Martin. Sometimes I think you and Martin, we've got a little similar betting styles. You know, we're often like a little bit more cautious. Would you go for that? It's like on the road, I feel like it's too high for a reason. Do you think so? Or is it just like, no, just take the gift and run with it?
I can see why you would. I just think Donny Rovers haven't been amazing on the road so far this season. They lost their last away game 4-0. I know Bradford don't really represent much stern opposition at the moment. I would be a little bit cautious, like you say, just because their form isn't great. But I think Bradford have been okay at home this season. But yeah, it looks like an interesting one. I wouldn't go too heavy on it. I probably prefer the look of the Portsmouth away game, to be honest. They're travelling to Wycombe, who are also down there fighting for their lives, who lost 3 on the bounce. Portsmouth have had a full week to get over the elation of beating Sunderland last weekend in the big game. And I think that will galvanise them for a final push for the rest of the season. They really need to keep scrapping for points to try and keep up there. And I think they can go there and win that one. You've got odds of 2.1 on a Portsmouth away win, so I like that one.
Oh, I quite like that one too. What do you think of that one, Flash?
A hard place to go, Wickham. Wickham's a really, really tough place to go. They're big, they're strong. And the thing is with Portsmouth, they've got quite a few young boys in their side. And I mean, obviously, I looked at Portsmouth because Portsmouth was one of our ones that got our accumulator up 2 weeks ago. But I just felt, and I haven't bet, I don't think, against Wickham at home all season. And I've seen some wonky old results. So even though Wickham are down there, they are one of those if you win and you win at Wickham, then you deserve more than 3 points.
Yeah. It was like the Turf Moor of the Premier League, or the Turf Moor.
I would say it was more that they're just so big, and they play, and they might get beat, but they'll get beat like in the 80th minute or the 90th minute, and you're not going to go there and win 3 or 4-0,
Yeah.
It's a tough place to go to.
Portsmouth have got the best away record in the league, though. So if anyone's going to beat them, could well be Pompey.
Oh, it could
both
well be.
Teams
I mean,
to
I wouldn't
score
put you
as
off
well.
it.
What about both teams to score in that match?
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah. Both have got goals in them, don't they? All right. Interesting one. Wickham Wanderers. All right. We've got a couple more left. These are actually, let's have a look. 3 backs on the reverse. Can they pull the win? These are some notes that they know. So the 2 ones that Dave was looking at was Walsall, Oxford, and Coventry, Bristol.
Well, Coventry, Bristol is because he's a Coventry fan and he's put them down for his heart. They're a very, very young side. Bristol Rovers under new management, obviously since Darrell Clarke left. Coventry I'm quite impressed with. They want to play pure football, but that means they can be put off their stride a little bit, With Walsall, would you say Walsall and Oxford, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Walsall and Oxford, and you've obviously got Walsall sitting in relegation, 4 back-to-back losses, and on the reverse, you've got Oxford, back-to-back wins. They are on the road there, but 2.69 is the price.
Yeah, well, Walsall got beat, I think it was 2 weeks ago, or they drew. I'm just trying to think who might have got the winner away at Walsall. One of the promotions. Barnsley scored in the 95th minute to win at Walsall. So they were in the game for 95 minutes. And I saw 3 or 4 one-on-ones with Walsall that they could have beat Barnsley by 2 or 3. And it was only because of the Barnsley keeper and Barnsley getting that late. I think it was a win. I think they won 2-1 in the end. But listen, them type of sides, you can't get involved. You certainly wouldn't put them in an ACCA. You're always just going like that. Oh, I'll put them in. Because that's 5 games, you're going to get 3 different results.
Yeah, well, I was sort of thinking, because obviously we always do the Premier League punters, and it's 10 matches. Here, obviously, you're going all the way down to League 2, Swindon versus Yeovil. Swindon 1.73, draw 3.92, and Yeovil 5.5. So when you're looking down the array of matches and you're like, right, what am I going to bet on? Is there certain teams that stand out to you? Do you look at the prices and think, it's a home price, I like that, I like the team, and sort of go with that? Because I noticed that a lot of the bets that we do for Premier League punters, you actually generally don't do the outright, or it's combined with something. Here it's like straight outrights.
Yeah, because, I'm looking now, and you say Swindon, Yeovil. Yeovil, the worst team in this league, like bar none, really. I mean, they are so weak. The majority of players that Yeovil they get players, young boys on loan from like your West Hams, your Tottenhams, and it's hard. It's like a disjointed jigsaw. Swindon, they went to Bury and scored 3 last week. Bury, I know that Bury, they've been one of our favourites all season long. I think they're the top scorers throughout the leagues, apart from Man City. And they beat them 3-1. and now they're going back home, and you're getting the price. So yeah, what I look for is, first of all, a team that scores goals and a team that lets goals in. And it really is as simple as that. And then what I do is I look down at the list, and then I look at the prices. And then I say, well, yeah, I think that'll win. But I still don't put anyone in at like 1.5 or 1.6. It just doesn't happen.
I have to say, though, did a little bit of research, Swindon, Yeovil. Swindon 1.73. Martin, at home against a very poor Yeovil side. What do you think?
Looks like an amazing price, yeah?
Yeah.
It was great to me. West Country sort of derby going on there. Also, what I was going to ask Flash, what do you think of Mansfield to beat Cambridge at home? Obviously, Mansfield back to winning ways.
Sorry to interrupt
4-1
you,
last time out.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Right, now, Cambridge have been in the bottom 5, 6 all season long, but we've had a few good wins out of Cambridge because earlier on in the year, they were getting beat, but they were unlucky and they were putting up good performances. And I've always had that little saying that sometimes when you lose, you actually win. So, and then they went off the boil. They went to Bury last night and won 3-0. I'm like, what is going on? So what I'm trying to say is you can't bet with and you can't bet against Cambridge because they, on their day, they're a match for the top sides. And if they hadn't have beat Bury last night, I would have said to you, we've got to go with Mansfield. Big, strong. They've been on our coupons probably 3 out of 4 weeks every single month since the start of the season. It's just Cambridge. It's just they will go and do you. And it'll be like a 0-0. Or if Mansfield win, it might be a 90th minute goal. It's just one of them games that you're never sitting at home thinking, oh, don't worry, this will happen. Like you were with Bury earlier on in the year. Bury would be 1-0 down and you'd be like, we still win this 3 or 4-1, no problem.
Yeah. All right. As far as units go, there's obviously a question. How many units do you put on each, or you're simply playing them as ACCAs, or are you going to put a unit on each one as well?
Basically, I've done £20 accumulator on Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds, Doncaster, Swindon, and Fleetwood.
Do you mean Sheffield United, Flash, or Wednesday?
Sorry, Sheffield United. Yeah, I got Sheffield Wednesday on the brain because I was close to going with them, but because they're one of my old sides, I don't want to hex them.
Doncaster and Swindon. All right, so you're going Sheffield United, Leeds, Doncaster, Fleetwood, and Swindon. £20 on that one, and then and per unit, what do you put in each one on each match?
Oh, no, I don't go individual.
Oh, you're not.
And then what I'll do is because on Saturday morning, what I'll do is put the 6 of them together, say with Bristol City, and I'll do 6 £10 5-timers and a £10 accumulator. So if one gets me beat, then I still get my money back and a bit more. But again, this year we've had like maybe 4 or 5 accumulators up. I mean, we did one, we had 9 out of 9.
Sweet. Nice one. Do you have, if somebody obviously wanted to just sort of dip their feet into sort of the lower league betting, which one or ones are your favorite? Your nap?
No, see, I say this every week.
Because you're going to say all of them are.
Yeah, of course, because I've got 48 to choose from or whatever I've got. And because remember, with these lower leagues, we've got another league below League 2 that we dip our toe into now and again as well.
Yeah.
And I've come up with 6. A 3, a 2, and a 1 from the Championship, League 1, League 2. And I'm happy enough to stick them in an accumulator and not do them singly. So I'm not I don't know which one would let me down. I don't know which ones.
No,
I couldn't
do it. If I gave you £50 and I said put it on one of the matches, which one would you do?
I'd go Swindon at home to Yeovil, but there again, I think that's reflective in the odds.
Uh-huh.
So. Sheffield United at Preston.
All right. Somebody's Alexandru has got, what do you reckon about my treble? Bristol City to win, Kidderminster, Bradford over 2.5, and Norwich win. Well, we agreed on the Norwich. Bristol City. Kidderminster. Bradford.
Are they playing Bradford Park Avenue, are they? Because Doncaster are playing Bradford.
There we go. I'm having a look. Kidderminster, Bradford. This is the National League.
Yeah, Bradford Park Avenue.
Yeah, Kidderminster.
Yeah, that's about tier 7.
So what do you think about the overs in that one?
I don't know how. I used to play my reserve games at Bradford Park Avenue.
Swindon. Choose Swindon,
this...
Alexandru. He said that was his favourite. 1.73. So add that one in, and we agreed on Norwich City, and we agreed on Bristol City. So there we go. That might be pushing it for the lower leagues. What about you, Martin? What are your favourites of the ones we've spoken about?
Give me 50 quid just to put a bet on. I'm going Norwich -1 Asian handicap against managerless QPR. The big live game on Sky Sports, 12:30. Canaries are on a roll. They're heading towards the Premiership. I'm going for that.
All right. I am going for, after speaking with you fine gentlemen, I'm going for Norwich -1. I'm going to go for Sheffield at 2.3. I'm going for Leeds 2.05. Bristol City odds of 2. I'm going for Fleetwood at 1.85. Doncaster at 2.17. And I'm going for Yeovil at 1.73.
No, you're not going for Yeovil.
No, Swindon.
Sorry, Swindon to beat Yeovil.
Swindon. Sorry,
Yeah,
Swindon.
exactly,
There we go.
yeah.
How exciting. All right. That is the end of the lower league segment of this show. We are now going to move over to the Grand National taking place on Saturday. Easily the best horse race of the calendar year. And interestingly, both of these two fine young tipsters cover the Grand National as well. So what a surprise. And first question is, now I've been speaking with Martin Green quite a little bit on this one because we're talking about content for Odds Market, which Martin writes. So if you want to go and check out some odds and some news on Grand National, please go check that out, oddsmarket.com. Now, Martin, would you say, obviously, this is one of the things we were talking about, is backing a winner is very hard because like the question is can Tiger Roll become the first since Red Rum in 1974 to win back-to-back Grand Nationals? So really, it must be quite tough backing the winner here.
It certainly is. You have 40 runners that line up. They have to go 4 miles, 514 yards, 2 circuits of the Aintree course. There's 30 fences. They're so torrid, these fences, that they've got names like Beecher's Brook, Canal Turn, The Chair. And your horse could be running a perfectly good race, and then some loose horse can just wipe it out on the 25th fence, and all your plans are just completely ripped to shreds. So the absolute chaotic nature of the race makes it really hard to pick a winner and to justify betting on the favourite, really, because anything can happen. Obviously, Red Rum was a legendary horse, won it 2 years on the bounce, then finished second twice in a row, then won it for a 3rd year after that. And we've never seen the likes of Red Rum since. I would say that Tiger Roll deserves to have a bit of hype around him after successfully defending the cross-country chase at Cheltenham last month. But having said that, he is a very small horse. He's shown that he can handle the course and the trip. He hasn't been given too much extra weight this time. He's in the sweet spot weight-wise. But I just think there are so many variables that you've got to factor in. We've seen far more convincing winners that have failed to defend their crown, and he only just about sneaked victory last year. So I can see someone taking him this time around. I think most people prefer to approach this by picking a few longer shots, going each way, so that even if your first or second choices fall over early on, you've still got an interest heading into the latter stages of the race. So I probably advise people to look a bit further down the card, look for some each way value. I mean, a lot of people just choose horses whose names they like. It does actually get that silly on Grand National Day. You get all sorts of people that never bet on horse racing ever coming into betting shops. I worked for years in betting shops, and it was just like chaos on those days. But it's a really good occasion. I think people really enjoy betting on it, but hardcore professional punters would probably steer well clear of this race. I would advise just looking far down, finding a few that look interesting, that have proved they've got the stamina and that they can handle the trip, and going low each way on a few of them.
Yeah. Obviously, 600 million people watch the race worldwide. Why? What makes it so popular, Flash?
By the way, that was just a great analogy there from Martin on exactly what the race entails. But it's because people who don't bet all year round, everyone, if you've got a nan or granddad and everyone else, they all bet on the Grand National. It's the one sporting occasion that brings everybody together, and they have sweepstakes at work. Every single workplace near enough, they'll all have their pounds in, and they all pick a horse, and they've got something to cheer on. And as Martin says, it's all about the name of the jockey. But in recent times, since they've made the fences easier because of obviously fatalities and things like that, they've landed a few big gambles in this race. Now, there's a couple of things you have got to be wary of, and Martin hit the nail right on the head. You can have a horse. I've watched the last two races twice today, so 2017, 2018, and just to see who was travelling and what the ground conditions were like. And last year, and this is another bet that people can have, it's only a fun one, it's how many finishers there will be. There was 40 started last year, and with 4 or 5 fences to go, there was still 20, a minimum of 20, going nicely. 12 finished. 12. Now, they were quite wary this year, is because a lot of these National One horses, good ground is the soft side of good for these animals. That's as fast as they want it. And at the moment, we've not had a lot of rain, and they're hoping to water. So I'm fearful they must water for the safety aspect, because obviously otherwise it really is going to be a lottery, because so many horses will crumble or they might stumble when they land. And there's a few horses I quite like. There's 3 horses I'm happy to put up this year after knowing what their position and how they run. They run a bit wider, and they run about 10 to 15 places off of the front. I find it very hard to come from the back, and you don't really want to be out in front, because 4.5 mile, it's like 36 fences. But I think the class horse in the race, and would be favourite if it wasn't for Tiger Roll. And remember, Tiger Roll has won a Fox Hunters. It's won over the Hunter Chases, and it's won a hurdle race. And normally, apart from Red Rum, you don't normally get a horse come back in the Grand National. Normally they win the Grand National, you don't see them again. This one seems to have gone, and everyone loves it. But I think Annabelle Fly, I think he came 3rd last year because he got caught in the running. I think that they'll play stalking tactics this year, and I think you can get around 14 to 1. So a lot of the bookies, and look at your bookies, because a lot of them are doing 6 places. Now, the race could be over, and you could wait maybe 50 lengths, and 4th, 5th, and 6th will still be coming. So you're going to get value for your money anyway. And the other one that I know has been trained for this, and I spoke to a few people, and they said Vintage Clouds. It's an out-and-out stayer, and it's had a wind operation this year. And again, that's 14 to 1. A real jumper, a real stayer. So I'm happy to put that one up. And the other one was Warriors Tau. And there's a few reasons I've gone for this. Is last year, if you have a look, I think it was 4 or 5 out, and you asked me to pause it and show you the winner, I would have gone for Warriors Tau. Now, it's 66 to 1 in, I think, 1 or 2 places, but it's 33 to 1 in other places. And so why would you not have your little £1 each way on Warriors Tau, when I think that it got done last year because it was a little bit too tacky for it. If it's the quicker ground or the soft side of good, then I think that Warriors Tau might just give you a run for your money at 66 to 1.
Yeah, and some good prices. Well, you made some good points. Now, obviously, most people know you through football, but you are actually an avid horseman, which people may not know. When did you get into horses? And just give us a quick background of your horses.
Just probably the Grand National, funnily enough. I'm just looking around. I've got a signed Aldeniti picture just up there, and I've got that's Lamtara. He won the Derby, and I've got West Tip, which was my first ever bet, which was 50 pence each way, 8 to 1. It won, and I think that was in 1982. I think it was. I think Aldeniti was the Bob Champion one. When so again, it was just through. But I'm a flat man. I'm a flat rather than. I like the pedigree, and I like the pace and the tactics in a race.
And do you have a horse at the moment? Because you a while ago you had one, and didn't she get sent to the States or something when
we sold her to the States. Yeah, we've just got another one. He's a colt, and he'll be ready to run in about 4 or 5 weeks. Hopefully he wins, and the target will be Royal Ascot.
Cool. Did you know that, Martin?
No, I knew Flash was into the scene. I didn't know that you were owning all these horses. Yeah, I mean it's a sort of a quirk of UK and Ireland, really, having national hunt racing. The rest of the world is only really into flat, and the season's about to begin. So lots of exciting times ahead for you.
Yeah, it is exciting. And actually, sometimes when we film, you are at the stables, aren't you? Like when you're in the different, you're in a different. That is where Flash is. Yeah. He's with his horse.
Well, yeah, exactly. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm starting as a racing manager to look after syndicates and people that want to come in, so that the trainer gets on with what he wants to do. And if someone else wants to know and ring up and come and see the horses, then I'll show them round. And it's just great. I'm going back up there on Friday afternoon because it's main work day on Saturday morning.
Cool. All right. So we've heard from Flash. We've got Annabelle Fly, Vintage Clouds, and Warriors Town. What do you like, What do you like, Martin? Is there what gets a couple of your pounds?
That's Warrior's Tale. Yeah, I agree. He was looking good last year. Just quickly on a point that Flash made, which I think is really important to emphasise. You want to be going each way on these long odds runners, because anything over 5 to 1, you're going to get you're going to be in profit if they place. Now, an each way bet means you get half your stake on the win and half your stake on the place. And Ladbrokes, William Hill, Paddy Power, Betfair, and Bet Victor will all pay out on the first 6 for each way odds, which is really good. In a normal horse race, I know there are a lot fewer runners, but you normally will only see paying out on the top 3. So I would look at those bookmakers, or go over to Bet365. They only play out on the top 5, but you get a quarter of the odds on the place rather than a fifth of the odds. So I think those are your 2 good options there. Just looking a little bit further down the list, I think Annabelle Fly would be a popular winner. Obviously, shown that can handle the trip. Finished 4th, I think, last year. Very versatile horse, 2nd in the Gold Cup. So I think at the shorter odds, that might be an interesting one. We've obviously got One for Arthur, is a bit of a market mover today. Previous winner who's also in the mix, but I think it might be a bit much for him. Ballyoptic is always an interesting horse. Sometimes you do get these ones that are different prices. He's 33 to 1 with a lot of bookmakers, but out at 50 to 1, William Hill and Sky Bet. Might take a look at that. Apart from that, I'm just going to have to look at it a bit further. Maybe Bless the Wings at 100 to 1. I think just looking for horses that have got proven stamina that you think are going to get round. But yeah, Annabelle Fly looks good to me. Again, I just think Tiger Roll odds are a bit too short to justify it, really.
Yeah, I know. It'd be kind of cool if he did repeat there, but no, I like the sound of those ones. I am convinced. Interesting stuff. I can't wait. That's going to be an exciting race on Saturday. All right, Flash, Martin, thank you so much for joining me for the hour. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm excited to go and play some of those lower league bets, actually. Sounds lots of fun. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Obviously, big thank you, Martin and Flash, and we'll see you guys soon.
Cheers, Nat.
Hey, guys.